In the 1960s, at the height of the Cold War and in the midst of the space race, not only were technologies rapidly advancing, but so were ideas about the best ways to lose weight. Mysterious pills from the Soviet Union, which promised to shed extra pounds with little effort, became the center of attention. They emerged during a time when the West and the East competed in everything, including methods of staying in shape. These little pills, shrouded in mystery, allowed people to plan for their summer dresses with the confidence that they would fit perfectly. Their effects and ingredients were cloaked in secrecy, which only added to their popularity and intrigue among those dreaming of a slimmer figure. Undoubtedly, this created the illusion of a quick miracle. But the reality of these pills revealed far from everything. This is the story of how magazines became the true diet gurus of that era, shaping the dietary consciousness of millions. Glossy Magazines. In the 1960s, when television had not yet achieved dominance, magazines were the main source of information for millions of people. This was especially true when it came to health and diet issues. The pages of glossy publications made people trust absolutely everything that appeared between their covers. From the content of these magazines, people learned how to lose weight properly, what to eat, and what to avoid. Images of slender models influenced public perceptions of the ideal body, and dietary advice became almost like life commandments. The quirky recipes and celebrity tips of that era not only fascinated people, but also showed them how to achieve the ideal promoted by society. Every issue promised that the new diet was exactly what you had been looking for all along. Lively discussions took place between the pages, and there was a sense in the air that the gurus could step right off the cover images at any moment to offer yet another incredible piece of advice. But just as captivating was the influence of cultural phenomena on the breakfast ritual. After all, every morning could mark the beginning of a new day of victories, starting with what was served on your plate. A healthy breakfast. In the 1960s, breakfast held a special ritual significance, especially when it came to maintaining a slim figure. In those days, ordinary people paid attention to every bite of food in order to meet the beauty standards imposed by the media. An omelette made from 3 egg whites and a slice of rye toast were considered the foundation of a solid and healthy start to the day. Along with grapefruit juice, which was believed to have miraculous properties for metabolism, these foods created a sense of a complete yet light diet. The careful handling of food became an integral part of the morning routine, while tender melons and cups of tea or coffee completed the dietary extravaganza. Every breakfast seemed like a culinary work of art, meticulously thought out down to the smallest detail in pursuit of perfection. However, this was only the beginning of the remarkable fitness experiments that soon became fashionable, allowing people to exercise without leaving home. It was home workouts that promised to become an important part of the new lifestyle. But exactly how they influenced the weight loss process remained a mystery. Home fitness. In the 1960s, home fitness experienced a true renaissance. With the advent of a new era of convenience and technology, people realized that they no longer needed to go to the gym or rely on expensive training sessions to stay in shape. Television programs and radio broadcasts featuring exercise routines became popular ways to get fit without leaving the living room. Simple exercises became fashionable, from jumping in place to arm rotations. Just imagine ladies in stylish leggings shaking off extra pounds with plate exercises or lifting dumbbells that weighed about as much as a small bookshelf. These workouts looked simple and even a bit amusing, but in the end they turned out to be quite effective. A real breakthrough happened when the first fitness training videos appeared. People started gathering in front of their screens, moving their bodies to lively music in pursuit of health and beauty. Famous fitness experts of that era convincingly showed that a good figure was actually closer than one might think. It all started with a few movements under the guidance of a TV instructor, and soon the body would become more toned. But while the right exercises strengthened the body, caffeine played no less important a role in maintaining weight. How are these drinks connected to diets? This fascinating secret will be revealed very soon. Coffee. In the mid-1960s, coffee drinks became a real phenomenon in the world of diets and weight loss. A cup of strong coffee, or the growing popularity of tea, not only helped people wake up in the morning, but also became important elements of diet plans. People believed in the magical power of caffeine, which could speed up metabolism and burn excess calories. At that time, it was even believed that a couple of cups of coffee were enough to ward off the appearance of unwanted fat. With the rise of the coffee drink trend, a multitude of recipes and tips emerged on how to use them as effectively as possible in your daily routine. For many, coffee consumption strategies seem like the perfect solution. They combine invigorating energy that increased productivity with a slimming effect. Of course, this was followed by its own flaws and excesses when overconsumption became a problem, manifesting as insomnia and nervousness. Nevertheless, the cult of caffeine remained unshakable, and its popularity created fertile ground for the emergence of new coffee and tea blends promising to speed up the achievement of the coveted slim figure. The key lies in a balanced daily routine, whether it's physical labor, fitness, or desk work. Everyone found their own ideal formula for consumption. The subsequent trend of eliminating fats from the diet fits into this picture, bringing other important elements of dietary strategies of that time to the forefront. Low-fat diet. In the 1960s, amid a surge of interest in healthy living, a new movement swept through the world of dieting low-fat diets. These diets promised that cutting fat from your meals would help shrink your waistline and let you happily fit into your favorite skirt. Many people followed the example of stars and celebrities who claimed that the secret to their slim figures was their low-fat diet. The allure of the idea that fat was the number one enemy of the body was so strong that even dairy products began to be produced in lighter versions. Suddenly, fat-free yogurts and low-calorie cheeses appeared on store shelves. Newspapers and magazines generously shared recipes and tips on how to cook dishes without using butter or cream. Simple salads and lean cuts of meat became the foundation of almost every meal, and experts assured that this approach would not only help shed extra pounds but also prevent heart disease. However, fans of this approach soon learned that there was another side to the coin. Although the pounds might have been coming off, the body was lacking the essential fats needed for proper nutrition. The role of fat as a component necessary for the production of vital hormones and the absorption of vitamins became a symbol of ongoing research and exploration. Nevertheless, the movement to eliminate fats did not lose its relevance, and interest in other aspects steadily became woven into the fabric of diets, such as the surprising myths surrounding one rather trendy fruit. Bananas. In the 1960s, bananas became a true dietary sensation. This sunny fruit, with its soft texture and pleasant sweetness, seemed like the perfect candidate for weight loss. Rumors were circulating everywhere that bananas contain negative calories. Supposedly, the body spends more energy digesting them than it absorbs from them. People were buying bananas by the kilogram, trying to achieve the perfect figure with their health. Many followed the trend. Bananas became part of the menu as breakfast, snacks, and even dinners. It seemed that by simply replacing a few meals with bananas, you could quickly experience the effect of a slim body. However, amid the general excitement about the banana diet, questions began to arise. Are bananas really that beneficial, or is all the hype around them just a marketing ploy? The reality, however, turned out to be more prosaic. Although bananas are rich in important nutrients such as potassium and vitamin B6, they also contain a lot of sugars which can create a temporary feeling of fullness but ultimately leave the body without significant essential nutrients. Gradually, the idea of the banana diet began to be overshadowed by hints of disappointment. It is not surprising that nutritionists began to view this approach with skepticism. And yet, despite the skepticism, bananas have retained their popularity as an accessible and tasty snack that can now be found in the daily diet of many people. However, ahead of us awaited an encounter with a whole parade of dietary concepts which, according to some of the most famous personalities, could work wonders and which continue to remain relevant even today. The celebrity diet. In the 1960s, celebrities played a key role in promoting dietary concepts, often becoming true icons for their fans. They didn't just shine on the screens, but also served as living examples of slimness and health, prompting millions of people to follow their lead and aspire to the same lifestyle. Dressed in perfectly tailored suits and dresses, Hollywood stars eagerly shared their secrets, showing off their refined figures on every magazine cover. The name of every celebrity became associated with their own unique diet. Some swore by the effectiveness of low-calorie meal plans, others by the magic of juice cleansers, and still others by the invigorating benefits of morning runs. Magazine editors eagerly published exclusive interviews and perfect meal plans that readers could follow at home. This not only boosted circulation, but also set new trends in weight loss methods. All sorts of brochures appeared, inspired by celebrities who praised plant-based diets or packed their breakfasts with protein. This is how an entire culture was created, where food and celebrities became inseparable. And how did the glamorous images on magazine covers help promote the diet lifestyle? Answers to these questions began to form in the minds of fans at the time, since every new diet concept brought its own wow factor. And so, amazing drinks appeared on the horizon, continuing to capture attention and promising to help in the quest for a slim figure. Tea. In the 1960s, when it came to drinks used for weight loss, various tea blends, unusual mixes, and homemade elixirs gained the most popularity. A good example of this are evening teas, which promise not only cleansing and relaxation after a stressful day, but also timely relief from unwanted pounds. This approach was based on the idea that certain herbs and ingredients could speed up metabolism and remove toxins from the body. Some of the blends, for example, included senna and rhubarb, known for their laxative properties, promising cleansing and a feeling of lightness. Fragrant jasmine or mint flowers were added to them, turning the evening ritual into something special. And of course, there was no shortage of secret recipes passed down by word of mouth, which according to their creators were absolutely safe and almost magical. On the other hand, manufacturers also responded to this fashionable trend by offering ready-made blends that could transform any evening tea drinking into a ritual of health and beauty. At the same time, there were plenty of tea alternatives, from bitter and astringent to delicate and aromatic. Soon, even anti-stress drinks with veiled dietary promises appeared in everyday life. However, among the fans of such approaches, there were quite a few who doubted the promised effects. Questions about whether a cup of a fragrant drink really affects one's figure remained on the agenda for a long time. But the opinions of those who were at the origin of these tempting beliefs could shed light on the deeper connections between diet and beverages. After all, the advice of nutritionists from that time, which many would later recall, fondly clearly shaped the overall picture of everything that surrounded the lifestyle. Nutritionists' advice. In the world of the 1960s, nutritionists possessed a special influence. They became experts whose knowledge inspired admiration and trust. Their expertise was shaped not only by scientific research, but also by the cultural trends that prevailed in society at the time. Nutritionists also worked actively to improve approaches to nutrition, often speaking out against radical diets that were widely promoted through the media. Experts of that era emphasized the importance of balanced nutrition. They spoke about the variety of nutrients necessary for health and stressed the importance of moderation in the diet. Nutritionists advocated for the consumption of all food groups, including proteins, carbohydrates, and perhaps most surprisingly, given the popularity of low-fat diets at the time, fats. They argued that excluding any component could lead to undesirable consequences for the body. In their recommendations, they also highlighted the importance of vitamins and minerals, which help maintain youthfulness and energy. The research of that time was focused on studying how specific foods interact with the body. And this knowledge, combined with the experience of previous centuries, allowed them to lay the foundations for our understanding of modern nutritional science. What they discovered and based their conclusion on still resonates in today's recommendations. These standards not only influence current food chains, but also lay the groundwork for future dietary trends. Meanwhile, experimenters continued to develop their methods among bread and fruit, actively flirting with culinary innovations. Sandwich. Sandwiches began to gain new popularity thanks to surprising combinations and unexpected ingredients. The housewives and experimenters of that time strove to find the perfect balance between taste and health benefits. The focus was not only on classic bread and butter, but also on such novelties as avocado, which was perceived as something exotic and healthy. The green gold, with its rich fats, quickly won the hearts of those who were looking for nutritious yet light dishes for their everyday diet. The appearance of avocado on the table was not just a gastronomic innovation, but a kind of cultural revolution. It symbolized open-mindedness and a willingness to integrate global culinary influences. Sandwiches with it not only acquired new flavor notes, but also fit the low-fat diet trend of those years, offering richness and satiety. But it wasn't just avocado that made sandwiches so appealing. The play of flavors included various bread bases from rye to multigrain, which allowed for experimentation with textures and provided variety. The bread was toasted to a crispy crust, and any sandwich became a small masterpiece in the home kitchen. Innovations also extended to various vegetable-based spreads, which added a fresh taste and nutritional value. This entire sandwich food marathon left an aftertaste of lightness and novelty in everyday life. It showed how, using simple and accessible ingredients, one could create real meals full of benefit and pleasure. And although sandwiches could not promise instant dietary results, their contribution to the variety of the diet table is hard to overestimate. This prolonged search for the ideal led to the emergence of methods based on a short-term yet effective path to slimness, and they are about to be revealed in the coming moments. The 2-day method. In an era of striving for instant results and experimenting with the body, the much talked about 2-day method emerged. This diet promised miracles, relying on the allure of short-term changes. People believed that in just 2 days, something incredible could be achieved. The simplicity and reliability of such a strategy seemed tempting. All you had to do was restrict your calories and stick to a strict regimen. The foundation of the method was a complete reduction of food intake to 500 or 600 calories per day. Usually, such days involved eating basic foods, eggs, lean meat, or boiled vegetables. Many people combined this with green smoothies or lemon water to enhance the cleansing effect. The promises were simple: shedding unwanted pounds and feeling lighter. The popularity of this deceptively simple method gave rise to numerous variations from fruit fasting days to lean diets. However, at the core, it was always the same maximum restriction for quick results. The effectiveness of tactical two-day regimens was partly due to fluid loss, but the magical feeling of satisfaction they created prolonged their appeal in the hearts of dieters. Experts, however, never tired of reminding people about the importance of balance. And although such practices offered short-term victories, they warned of the need for longer-lasting and safer approaches to achieving slimness. Soon, however, came the realization that there was something more powerful than simply reducing portion sizes, and this lay in the realm of cosmetic and innovative products, which had a remarkable impact on the pursuit of slimness. Cosmetics. In the 1960s, the cosmetics industry entered a period of real transformation, offering wild and intriguing ways to shed unwanted pounds without any diets or physical exercise. Yes, these innovative methods promised to burn fat right outside the kitchen using lotions, creams, and even body wraps. Their promises clearly defied logic, but that was precisely what made them so appealing. People believed that a warming gel could melt away love handles, and that a film soaked in elixir would reduce the size of their thighs. Some products were based on the most unbelievable ingredients, such as seaweed extracts or elements from distant Eastern medicine, which promised not only weight loss but also a bottle of exoticism right on your bathroom shelf. However, the greatest sensation turned out to be wraps and compresses, which offered temporary reduction in body measurements through the effects of heat and pressure. Yes, naivety and optimism regarding magical remedies reached their peak, and many people expected results that would be visible to the naked eye. Of course, nutritionists and specialists viewed such promises with skepticism, but the unique sensations and colorful advertising campaigns convinced many to try these unconventional solutions. But the ritual of applying creams could not simply be ignored, and it became an integral part of the skincare routine. Gradually, the myths about their cunning effectiveness began to be debunked, and attention once again shifted back to more traditional methods of staying in shape. Paradoxically, the remarkable advances in cosmetology led to a renewed interest in natural ingredients, offering hope for new forms and strategies of weight loss and, of course, their influence on future dietary trends. And now another trend has emerged on the horizon, the seagrass kelpie, whose illusory properties also had an undeniable influence on the lines of diet plans of the last century. Seaweed. Kelp seaweed became one of the unexpected dietary discoveries. Seaweed, rich in beneficial minerals and iodine, was recognized as an important element not only in Asian cuisine but also as having potential for weight loss. According to research at the time, kelp could speed up metabolism and cleanse the body of toxins, making it an ideal dietary supplement for weight loss. Each ounce of seaweed became a true treasure trove of health, promising to balance hormones and reduce appetite thanks to its abundance of beneficial components. The appearance of kelp on dining tables marked a new direction in the understanding of dietary practices. People were actively searching for alternatives to familiar ingredients, striving to achieve slimness and health by using natural components. Seaweed was used in salads, soups, and even added to tea, as people experimented with their culinary skills and sought to integrate this new product into everyday life. The perception of kelp as a natural wonder capable of contributing to this only enhanced its magical allure. However, enthusiasm did not overshadow common sense, and it soon became apparent that one also needed to be cautious with seaweed. Nutritionists and advocates of natural foods began to realize that excessive enthusiasm for even the healthiest ingredients could lead to undesirable reactions. These experiences of the 1960s served as an important lesson for future dietary research, offering one of the multifaceted legacies of those years. The past left behind a general moral lesson, the pursuit of balance, and the sensible consumption of even the most exotic foods. And looking back, everything falls into place when this story helps us understand what we can learn from those who lived then. By examining the practices of the 1960s, modern nutritionists could find many valuable lessons that still fit harmoniously into contemporary diets. The behavior of our predecessors shows that what matters is not only the choice of foods themselves, but also the overall approach to eating. The secret lies in moderation, as opposed to the excesses characteristic of those turbulent times. Instead of chasing endless trends that promise instant results, the 1960s saw a tendency to return to balance and a varied diet. Modern specialists can learn from the drive to combine natural foods with proven practices, while also understanding the importance of nutrients such as vitamins and minerals. However, not all traditions of the past should be followed blindly. Nutritionists are now more aware of the risks of excessively restricting certain food groups or chasing after radical solutions, as often happened in those times. Unfortunately, many have learned from their own mistakes about the importance of not following trends, but rather being aware of the real vital needs of the body. And so, when everything falls into place, we begin to realize that the foundations of healthy eating lie in a culture of moderation and a rational approach. This legacy of the 1960s, though paradoxical in its naive approaches, remains an important reminder of how crucial it is to seek balance and listen to the signals of our own bodies. It is important to remember this on the path to the new, so as not to forget the old truths that can shape sustainable and effective strategies for maintaining health and fitness for many generations to come.